And I've noticed you mentioned quite a few times that it's since 1996, established in 1996, 20 years. Would this be sort of like figure out, I'm just trying to convert that to sort of like a bit of an advice, which is like figure out what makes you different and what's your most special feature, and then make sure to mention it multiple times on your site. Or
Yeah, I think trust is always a big thing. We get, before we put this all over the site, we were always getting asked, like, well, how do I know you're a legitimate company, and that kind of
right,
stuff.
right.
So the 1996, I think, gives us a lot of trust, saying, okay, we're, after you order, we're not going to disappear and not be here.
Yeah.
Um,
And you got the phone number right up there, so people feel like, whatever it is that they can call you.
yeah.
And this is, I
And
guess,
that's one of those things that's the simplest thing you can do is answer the phone,
yeah.
because I get I get that call often where I was like, well, I've called all these other places and no one answers the phone. You guys are the first person that answered the phone. So it's a very simple thing to just, answer the phone. If you have a phone number and advertise your phone number, answer the phone.
And when you're small, it's great, right? You just put your phone number. It's okay. People will call you, and
Yeah.
they could be potential customers, and you can talk to them. I think that's already like something which everyone can do. Well, thanks, Shannon. Is there anything else you'd like to show us, or because I think you've already shown us quite a lot of tips.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing I can show you that we've done, I'll just go here, it doesn't really matter, is all these filter by things that have helped a lot too.
Right.
So, people can filter by only what's available prescription, and then we went as far as, and sizing is another big one but we actually have this that helps our customers specifically a lot, because people with high prescriptions usually have a really hard time finding frames that'll fit, that'll work with their prescription. So we added this probably maybe 5 years ago, that you can narrow everything down by the actual prescription range that you have. So if you've got like a really high power, it'll sort out, only by the ones that'll work with your prescription. Because that was, again, another thing that we were getting calls on all the time, is like, how do I know this is going to work? I have a really high prescription, do you have anything that'll work with my prescription? And so we created those filters and stuff, again, by talking to people and knowing that was important to them.
And this is definitely a challenge that comes when you have so many products to sell, right? I mean,
Right.
it's almost like a different kind of, so, anyone who's got over, I don't know, say we're talking about hundreds of products, in your case, thousands, you do need to think a little differently from the other store that's maybe got 3 or 4, where they can really focus their homepage. Like you've got a very different problem to solve here.
Yeah. Like my other business, we only have like 30 products, so we don't have any of these kind of filters, because it doesn't make any sense. But there's only, we have the categories, and in each category there's like 5 things, so we don't need to have any filters. But yeah, when you have a lot of products, it's always that challenge, because we hear from customers that you have too many options. Right. So it's like,
what do I pick?
People do better in some ways if you give them like 3 things to choose from, right? So when I talk to customers or they email, and like, I'm really cognizant now to only send them, even though I have 20 products that could work for them, I send them the top 3 products that'll work for them, because people do much better when they have limited options.
Gotcha. So let's kill the screen share. I think this has been awesome. I'm really glad we got so much. Like it's almost like advice from the trench here. So thank you so much, Shannon.
Yeah.
Let us know if do you have any, I mean, like I said, you've already given us a lot, but do you have any sort of like parting sort of advice for people just starting their businesses in e-commerce, getting into it from literally decades of experience.
I do think it's really important to build a business plan, even if it's, a 3-page business plan. You don't have to write, a novel, but I think it's just really helpful to get all the ideas out there. So there's lots of places that have, free, because I did this with my other business when I bought the other brand that I bought recently. There's lots of places online you can just get a free outline of a business plan, and it just helps you frame your strategy and then what you're going to do. Think about your strengths, your SWOT, your strengths, opportunities, your competition, who they are, how you're going to differentiate yourself from your competition. Because it just gets your brain thinking and gives you a much better idea of where you're gonna go.